Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Thanks for tuning in. Sitting here at Lake St. Clair. I had an off day today during the Bass Pro Tour Stage 7 stop, and I had to go to the tackle shop to pick up a few things, so I picked up some local things too, and this will be the Lake St. Clair Local Lures Edition, and I've got some pretty cool stuff. You know, first off, before I get into this, for those of you that haven't watched the channel before, local lures is when I go to a local bait shop at one of my tournaments and I pick up baits that you can't get everywhere. They're lures made by locals and they're really only sold in that local area. So when I see things that pique my interest, I like to buy them. I like to sample with them and support the local companies that are making those baits, because most of them are really small mom and pop shops. And you know, I love tackle. I'm a tackle junkie, and I found some really cool stuff here at Lake St. Clair. So I've done one of these in the past. I'm going to continue to do these at my other tournaments. This is my last one for the year, so we may not have another local lures episode for the next several months. But once the tournament season starts up again, we'll have a bunch more of these. So just to recap too, you know, at La Crosse, which was the first local lures episode, I have used most of those baits. I want to talk about two of them. The first, the Hoodoo Lures double arm spinner bait, I used on the Wisconsin River back home, and I really, really liked it. It's a unique bait. It's a spinner bait, but it feels different, and it works really well around wood. That's where I got a bunch of bites. I caught a lot of river smallmouth on it, a couple largemouth as well. A nicely made bait. I'm impressed by it. I got to give the Hoodoo Lures twin arm spinner bait a shout out. The other one here, guys, that I threw at Lake St. Clair here a little bit in practice and had success was the liquid willow cat baits. If you remember, those are the baits that have ground up willow cats scenting the baits. The other one was the liquid leech. I've got them with me here. The liquid leech is where they grind up leeches and put them into the bait and use it to scent their baits. Both have great action. I caught fish. You know, I didn't use them a ton because honestly, guys, I have one pack of each. So I didn't want to feel like if I used them all in practice that I would end up I wouldn't have more to use. So I'm still experimenting with them. I was impressed. Good motion. You know, I caught fish on them. That's what I'm going to say right now. So you can check them out too. If you want to see more about both of those, go to the previous local lures episode when I was in La Crosse, Wisconsin. You can see me, talk more about those. But those were two that definitely stood out to me, and I'm very impressed with those. The others, I've tried everything so far, and I like everything. I really honestly do like everything. But some of them, I just want to spend some more time with because I don't feel like I gave them a really, really good effort. But I think if you bought any of those products I talked about in that previous episode, you'd be impressed with them. And I'm hoping to feel the same way with these baits as well. So let's get into some of the stuff I found here at the local shop. I believe it's called Sportsmen's Direct. It's located right near the entrance to Metro Park boat ramp. And they had a really nice shop. And I believe it's Sportsmen's Direct. So, a couple of the baits. The first one that caught my interest, it's called the Extreme Bass Tackle Drop Shot Tube. And this is an exclusive tri-laminate color. It's called St. Clair Goby NFT. It's an awesome looking color, super natural. And what caught my attention with these, so I like tubes. I really like tubes drop shotting. A lot of people don't don't use tubes to drop shot. But the key with a drop shot tube is you want them to be smaller. And for me, 80% of the tubes I throw are what I consider mini tubes or small tubes. And these definitely are that way. These are small baits. These, I'm gonna say that these are probably 2 inch, 2.5 inch at most. But the selection that they had at the tackle shop, every color there was really, really nice. I mean, the color on this is really unique. It's a very nice looking, natural goby looking color. And it was cool because a lot of the colors were geared towards smallmouths in specific lakes. Like I think they had a Huron, Lake Huron color. I think I saw a Lake Erie color. So they definitely tried to match the specific bait in those bodies of water. It was pretty cool. So I'm excited to use these. You know, it's a tube bait, so they're nothing super glitzy. But like I said, it's hard to find good small tubes, and it's hard to find really good colors like this in a tube. So I'll have the link for all of these companies, or the names of them, in my video description. But this is the Extreme Bass Tackle. Doesn't say where they're made, but I feel very confident in saying that they're local, because I've never seen them before. ExtremeBassTackle.com. ExtremeBassTackle.com. So that's a cool bait. I'm pretty excited about trying those. So the next one's a little bit different, but with late fall season coming up, one of the things I love to do is chase giant smallmouth bass. One of the ways I like to catch them is with like a jigging wrap style bait or a blade bait. And they had a huge selection of these in their tackle shop. So I'm assuming there's pretty good demand here for them. But this is called a Moonshine Lures Super Glow. It's just like a jigging wrap style bait. A lot of people it's called a Shiver Minnow. This is Fat Bottom #1 in blue clown color. So it's not anything super, crazy, but it is a little bit different profile than a straight jigging wrap. It's got more of an arc to its back with a bigger head. And I like the hooks in them too. The hooks have a nice wider gap. And this is a style bait that I like to use when chasing wintering smallmouth. Right before ice up happens, I'm out fishing super deep, and a really do nothing bait like like one of these jigging wrap style baits is a great way to generate bites. So I'm excited to get out and try it. I picked one of my favorite smallmouth colors. It's like a clown color, really a very good bait, or a good looking bait. Moonshine Lures, they're made out of Perkins, Michigan. I'm not sure how far that is from here, but I'm excited to give that a try. Next up, so this is the Bondi Bait Company, and John Bondi, I believe, is the owner of it. He fishes a lot of bass tournaments, a really good fisherman on the Great Lakes. I honestly know him better, outside of the tournament world. I know him better as a muskie guy, because he makes the Bondi Bait, which is a big muskie fishing bait, and something that's really popular in my area. But when I saw these, I was like, I gotta purchase them. One, because it is a fellow bass fisherman that makes these, but also because it's a pretty cool looking bait. This is called the Bondi Worm, and it's just a little small ribbed worm with a nice paddle tail. I just got the simple green pumpkin color because you can't go wrong with it. But I think that this could be really good on a Ned rig. I'm sure as a drop shot bait, but also like as a jig worm. It's got a little bit of length to it where you could use it in a finesse style. But I like how it's ribbed all the way down. It's got kind of those just larger ribs than you'd not normally find on a worm. It's a little stiffer too, which means it'll hold up really well on a Ned head or a jig worm style hook. So I'm excited to give those a try. I'm hoping that they're good. Like I said, the musky baits that he makes are really, really good baits and have done really well over the years for a lot of people in my neck of the woods. So I was kind of excited to see these because I didn't know he made plastic baits as well. Next up, we have Thump'em Soft Plastics. So it says on the package, durable, longer lasting soft plastic, thump 'em fast and hard. Please don't litter, and not for human consumption. So this is the baby bass color, 3 3/4 inch. It's the split tail, so it's kind of that fluke style bait. I think this would be a really good bait to throw on a drop shot. What I liked about it, what's a little bit different, you can see how big, it's got a really big forked tail on it. For a bait this size, I feel like the forked tail is bigger than normal. And I think this would be really good as a drop shot bait. You know, and probably get a little bit extra motion. There's definitely a coating or a scent on there. They're pretty oily looking. But I thought, heck, these look good. I like the fact they're a little bit different with the larger forked tail, and their color selection was really nice. You know, this is their baby bass color. It's a really nice looking bait. So I figured I'd give these a try too. That's a Thump'em soft plastic. These are made, this one's got the sticker on the back. I know they're made somewhere in Michigan. I saw it on one of the other packages. So that was one. The last two selections, guys, you're probably going to think are a little bit different. But, you know, a lot of you know that I like to fish for all different species of fish. And this store was starting to get ready for some ice fishing, I believe, and getting some of the winter stuff in. And I was taken back by some of the panfish baits that they had. And I can't wait to get home and give these to Hank and Duke because they're going to love them. But the first company, which is out of, looks like Cedar, Michigan, is called Roadside Minnows. So I bought multiple packs of these. These are tiny, you know, little 1-inch baits. They had different variations, and they just look like they're going to be killer on panfish. So the first one, the Roadside Minnow. What is this one called? So the micro minnow, it's a tiny little 1-inch minnow, and it looks like they're, I mean, you know, hand poured with eyes. I've never seen such small plastic baits with the detail that these baits had. Just, I mean, I can't say I buy a ton of plastics, but I mean, these are clear dipped after they're poured to keep the eyes on. So there's a lot of effort that goes into these tiny little baits. So I bought, like, these are just chartreuse. You know, you can see they got the little split tail. That's a pack of green ones. And then they had a little bit bigger size too. This one is called the Nano Fry 1 3/4. So that one's a little bigger. I actually bought this one because I think it could be a really good springtime bait, like for bedding fish. It's a little bigger. It's got just, you know, a cool little body shape on it. And I feel like for some fish that are tough to catch, I like to go really small when they're on the beds. And I could see this being a really good bed bait on a drop shot. The last one again is, I believe this is just their little fry. It's the same shape, the Nano Fry. And I think that's the 1-inch size. So you can see how much smaller that is compared to this one. Let's see if I can get them both in there. So that, you know, I think these are going to be absolute killers on the bluegill. I mean, the bluegill will eat anything, but there are times bait can make a huge difference. And I'm excited to get home, let the boys try these. And like I said, I just haven't seen such small hand-poured plastics like that. So I'm excited to try those. That was Roadside Minnows. The other one is called P3 Plastics. And these are coming out of Michigan too. I don't see it offhand where, but they make a bunch of different bluegill plastics or panfish plastics. And these are the micro spug, the 1-inch and the 1/2-inch. I mean, these are tiny, so this is just a little bit bigger size. The P3 plastics, I mean, I just feel like these are gonna crush the panfish again. And if they made this one in like a 2-inch size, I think that would be a killer bait as well for bass. And maybe they do, they just didn't have them at the store. I think these are mainly more ice fishing baits, but I'll guarantee you these are gonna catch a ton of bluegill. And I'm excited to get home and see what Hank and Duke are gonna wanna do. But I haven't seen any with that shape either. It's like a wide fat body with a big flat paddle tail on it. Kind of a cool shape. I'd like to see it in a bigger bass bait. I mean, I think that would be cool. So those are the local lures that I picked up at the local tackle shop. Sportsman's Direct, I believe is what it's called. I hope I'm getting that right. If not, I'll put in the description what the actual name of the shop was. And I can't wait to give some of these baits a try. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it on your social media pages, and stay tuned. We got new tips and tricks that come out every day.